some of this stuff. Woo.
Bit low on crystals for you.
Yeah, you can blame Ray for that. I think I spent about 6k or something just because I got impatient. But now my GLs are done, so
Yeah, you bastard.
I can chill a little bit. Alrighty, I think
How many we got?
a lot.
Yeah,
15 maybe?
Yeah, sweet. All right, we start recording now, I guess. Oh, sweet.
Sweet. Cool. Alright, so thanks everyone for coming. Obviously, short notice and whatnot, but hopefully this is insightful for you. I just want to start by saying as well that like nothing I do is a secret or like that groundbreaking or anything, but I think sometimes it might just help to show or see someone actually do it or what they do or their methods or whatever. I know it helped like Luke, for example, because you can read Google Docs and all that sort of thing and step-by-step stuff, but sometimes there's like little things that you can do that'll help. So first of all, the main thing that you want to do, just to start with modding in general, and I've been doing this pretty much ever since like I've started playing the game, is you just got to be consistent, right? So I don't know if everyone here can like afford it, but I think with the GA changes and stuff, especially now that crystals are definitely more accessible than they were when you were like if you're in like an old arena shard and it was hard to get first or whatever. But basically, you want to at least spend your 3 refreshes of this every single day without fail, like as a priority. And the way I usually do it is I farm the materials for like 2 weeks straight. So I'll just go through and I'll make sure like all of these are relatively high, probably like 600 or higher is usually what I aim for. And then you can switch for like a couple of days, and then you can start doing some mod challenges as well.
What? Trying to listen.
So like farming mod challenges is like hit and miss. A lot of people don't like doing it, but every now and then you do get something that's good. And I tend to find that a lot of the mods I buy from the mod store are usually pretty crap. So I like to balance and just do both, right? So you can always just farm mods, but whatever sets you're missing, obviously speed, offense, crit damage would be sort of priority, but then you can still like look to get other mods. The other thing I would recommend doing is if you've got crystal income is there's an event, I can't remember what it's called, but it's got like Dooku as the main picture. Anyway, that event gives like 8 blue mods, I think, on the first couple of tiers, and it's like a couple of 100 crystals to refresh that. So, and they're all health mods, by the way. But I do recommend definitely doing that because getting like 8 blue mods at a time is easier for you to upgrade than starting from like gray. So it's actually like pretty good value because every time you have like a gray mod or a green mod, it costs a lot of resources to get it up. So if you can ever, get a jump start on that, then obviously that's a good thing. So that's basically the farming stuff. So just stay consistent, 3 refreshes a day. Make sure you do the materials mostly, and then every now and then you can sprinkle in a little bit of the actual mod farming. But let's move into the actual modding. So what I will do then after, so say I do it for 2 weeks or 3 weeks, I like to obviously do modding in bulk as well. I feel like if you just do it daily as you get the materials and stuff, you sort of lose track of what you're doing. It's not as fun. Like you feel like you're just going to get ripped off constantly because chances are, you'll get one upgrade a day and it'll be crap, and then you'll hate mods. So I think if you can do, I don't know, spend like half an hour to an hour or something doing mods every month, for example, it'll feel much nicer. So once you've actually done a couple of weeks of farming, you're going to need to go into your sell tab. I've already done it, but there'll be a whole bunch of like 3 and 4 mods in here, so you can just like sell them all instantly. And then you can start obviously upgrading stuff. So what I usually do is I will go through and I'll just filter. Obviously you want to take off unassigned mods for now, and you just go through each mod and start upgrading them, right? So with the gold ones, it's pretty obvious. If it's got speed, then you take it up. What I like to do is I also like to sell from this screen while I'm doing it. So if I think it's crap here, I'll do that now and sell it. That way I don't have to like go back and filter out and try and sell everything. So for example, with this one, it's already showing speed, so you can take it straight to 12. And if it doesn't hit speed again, I'll just sell it straight away. It's not worth worrying about. So then with all blue mods, you want to obviously open up the additional stats. So this one's got speed. You can be superstitious if you want and go by 3s, generally what I do, but it's up to you. So you just go through and you start doing this and going through all your mods. So this one again, you can go straight to 12. So if it's blue and it hits 10, then I'll generally hit it again. And then if it hits again, purple, it should be hopefully 14, 15. Then you can hit it again and so on and so forth. I think those rules are pretty standard with a lot of mod guides and stuff. So usually when you're upgrading a grey, if it hits like speed, then you'll take it, green. And then if it hits again and if it's a 10 at green, then you go further and further and so on and so on. So, you just go through and you do this. So for example, with all these green ones, this one's showing speed, so you go to 12. Doesn't hit, I wouldn't bother. And obviously, like some of these rules, you can definitely relax them depending on where you are with your modding. So, like, I think my mod score is like 7.5 or somewhere around there at the moment. So I'm definitely a bit more strict with sort of what I allow for. But if you're still trying to grow from like 3 or that sort of area, then it's definitely worth like sort of relaxing those rules just until you get at least all of the main characters that you use in every sort of like TB, GA, etc. above like 10 or 15 speed on every mod, right? Like realistically, that's what you want to try and go for. So for example, this one, it's a green and it's 11, so it's obviously like got a lot of potential. It probably won't hit now, but we'll see. And then because it's blue and it's still above 10, you can try one more time if you want, and then it's hit again, so then you'll go again. And then there you go. So you have a 15 mod. So what I usually do, if it hits like the 14, 15 area, I'll usually lock it. That way I don't accidentally delete it, because most likely this will find a home. And then you just rinse and repeat. I'll probably leave out the greys until the very end. You can only do the greys if you've got a lot of credits. It can get very expensive, but just for, I guess, example, it'd be the same thing. You just take it to 12 only because it's efficient. So this one's hit speed and offense, so I'll bring it to 15, hit it again, and then I probably wouldn't go any further than that. You'll probably find that you'll get a lot of greens that are like 4 or 5 that have hit something else. You can sort of, like I said earlier, you can take the time and maybe go through some of them, and if some of them have like secondaries that are really good and promising, you can try hit it one more time and see what happens. But realistically, you're going to waste a lot of resources doing that. So you're better off just trying to find another mod that's, has a better starting point. And then the reason why I guess I filter is because if you don't filter and then you try and click here and then you do this, you go here, and then if you decide it's crap and you sell it, it takes you back to like everything, right? So it's kind of a pain in the ass. So usually what I'll do is I'll just go through and I'll do each sort of section. With modding, I don't know. I generally do it by 3s. I know it probably makes no difference, but I feel like the game, or at least the bias of that, sort of doing it in 3s allows you to maybe take in what's happening, or it doesn't feel as crap if you
He's got
miss
nothing
speed
done.
completely. Yeah.
I've done nothing for him. I just done nothing for him.
And then yeah, so you just go through all of your mods here and just upgrade it. Obviously this one's showing speed already, so it's fine. Yeah, I don't want to go through my like entire mod pool right now because there's actually quite a lot. So I'll just go through, I guess, what I do. So after I've done all of this, and I kind of want to open it to, I guess, if people have questions, whatever, about mod sets and all that sort of stuff, then you feel free. But after you go through and you do all your upgrades, and then you can start assigning them to people, what I usually do then is take off all the filters so that you can see all your mods. And what I would do, you can do it two ways. You can either start with the characters you know have your good mod sets and try and push them up on a per character basis, or you can filter out arrows in this example and sort by speed. And then I don't know why it scrolled me all the way to the bottom. So there we go. All right. So then sort by speed, and then you can literally just start from the top and work your way down. So what you're looking for here is any mod that hasn't hit speed 5 times. You want to hit it, obviously. And you just work down your list. So you can see all of these mods have already hit speed 5 times. So I've done this for quite a long time now, but you'll go down and eventually you'll get to an area where it hasn't hit 5 times.
Maybe not on your list.
I'll get there. Yeah, but see, sometimes it's not really getting ripped off, but if you hit it 5 times, you're only on plus 23, that's a bit unfortunate. But sometimes you get lucky where it's not even like colored 6E or whatever it's called, and then it's already 5 times. So in this instance, like, I wouldn't waste materials on this unless it was like really important and I was trying to hit like offense or health or something specific for a specific purpose. But generally, you're better off just trying to get plus 5s. So yeah, you can see here, like, obviously sometimes you don't get lucky, which is fine, but usually if you start at like a plus 20 or a plus 15 mod and you hit it once, you have like another 4 attempts to get that last hit, and so you'd hope that it happens anyway. So my god, but yeah, you'd go down. So you can see here. Yeah, so this is probably where it starts, right? So actually hitting this stuff.
There was a plus 21. There was a plus 21 with 4 rolls back there, mate. I think you missed it.
Was there?
Yeah, I thought I saw it.
Here we go. There it is. It's on bad.
Oh yeah, that's the one.
All right. So this is the material that's really the bottleneck in this at this stage of modding, right? So I don't have that much of it. It takes ages to get it. You can't buy it, to my knowledge. So just be wary of this. I think the first 3 colors require it as well. So what I would do if I was definitely starting out doing, like, if you want to sort of imitate what I've been doing, I would be only hitting these ones up to green and trying to just spread that across. Maybe you've got a couple hundred of this and you can just do it 20 or 30 times and spread it across your roster rather than just trying to get one mod up. Because it's going to cost you, let's just say, like, I missed this, right? It's cost me 10, right? So then it's going to cost me another 10 to try again. You know what I mean? And I've just hit this twice, and then it's going to cost me another 10 to hit it again, right? So, and then from purple, sort of, it doesn't cost as much, I believe. So it doesn't cost any. So, and you probably have like a lot of these other stuff. So when you get to the purple stuff, you can just do it whenever. Like, the bottleneck's probably going to be this stuff. But if you're farming this mod material like for 2 weeks straight, you'll get it back pretty quickly. And then I just buy this one from. There's a couple of areas you can buy it from. You can obviously buy it from here if you want. The other place to look for it is at the bottom of this store. It sometimes appears here. I think you get 10 of them for 500 or something. It's actually a pretty good deal. And then you can also buy it from the shard shop if you have a lot of shard currency, but I tend to burn through this really quickly. But yeah, I mean, that's basically what I do in a nutshell. You just have to sort of get into the habit of just doing it constantly, and then you'll start to get these, you know, plus 20, plus 25 speed mods, and then you can sort of go from there. And then obviously once you start getting speed mods for like a lot of situations, you can then start focusing down on trying to target farm specific things. So, you know, offense crosses with a crit damage set or something like that. But obviously, at least at the start, you can't really, you know, be too picky. Like if it has a crap secondary, like sometimes that's just how it is, and like the speed will generally outweigh the primary, at least on up until a certain point, obviously, and then you want to prioritize the mod sets and stuff. But like realistically, you're always going to be able to find it at home, even if it's on a tier 2 character, right? Like that you don't specifically use. There's like a whole bunch of pilots that can probably use it these days. There's a whole bunch of, you know, other places. So just try not to be too picky with that. Like obviously, if it's a, I don't know, offense primary and a defense set or something, if they're actually like clashing and stuff, you can opt not to level it up. But like if you're still growing your mod roster and stuff, I would still do it personally, because you never know. And then obviously the other thing to do is push anything that's, you know, plus 18 or whatever and isn't 6E, but push it higher because you get that one extra speed. And then, I mean, you can push this again if you want and see if we get lucky, but there you go. Plus 6 as well, dream. So that's just push Dooku. He's probably going to get that stolen now, but that's fine. But yeah, you just go through and you just do it. And as I said, like try and do it in bulk, just because it feels better. You can see like I've tried to hit like what 5 or 6 mods now, and I've gotten lucky once. So it's, you know, you can't expect to get 3 in a row like I did last stream, but yeah. And then lastly, I guess, is with protection primaries and stuff, I'm a little bit more picky because you only get, like, you obviously get the 1 speed from it, and like some of the secondaries will go up, but you only get 0.5% protection. So it's kind of like I'll leave them last because you want to focus on like stuff like this, right? Where you get that massive health bump. But yeah, you can see it gets pretty expensive pretty quickly, right? So
there you go.
yeah. But yeah, that's why I like definitely this. I think this is rough barrels. Yeah, so like for example, what's probably best for me to do is all of these plus 19s, right, that are here. I should be spending like this currency on just trying to get this to like the next level higher like that. And then the only problem with this method is you kind of like lose your positioning every time you slice, and it succeeds. And I can see this old Ben, so every time I go past old Ben, I think it was years somewhere here, right? I think it was here. Yeah, so like what I would do now is, because there's quite a few that are already, I guess, in that territory of getting a bit too expensive to upgrade, I should really start just hitting all of these plus 19s or plus 18s once and just seeing where they end up, because, you know, it's better to spend that currency there across a mod, like a lot of mods, rather than just like trying to get that one mod. So yeah, this is what I would generally do. And you can see here we're like not getting very lucky. There you go. But yeah, I mean that's pretty much it. Like if you just do this a lot, you will eventually get lucky. It is literally just consistency. It is obviously RNG and luck and stuff, but if you just do it enough times, you'll get the results. You know what I mean? It's not like I don't think the game is gonna go work against you too much or anything like that. So, but yeah, I would just do this, go through. Is there any like questions or anything people wanted to ask while there's like 25 people here that can chime in and have a chat?
I was going to say, mate, do you want to show them how to then, once you've found all these mods, maybe to assign them to the best people? Like, just say you've rolled a bunch of good mods and finding homes for them?
We can, but generally it's, definitely. So, like, obviously I would use a resource like... Yeah, for sure. I mean, like,
otherwise help everyone out, that's all.
I'm probably not the best example of that at the moment, just because maybe not the best example, but like I've just gone and got the last Galactic Legend, and then I said I was gonna sort of remod GLs at some point, because I know like my modding has maybe not outdated, but it's a bit different to like what max Territory War is requiring. But I mean, it has worked for me, so I just sort of leave it until I have to do it. But usually what I'll do is you can obviously use the bots or swgh.gg to look at what are the best mod sets or what people are using. So I think every character in swgh.gg has like a best mods button. So if I look at Ray, for example, under characters, Ray. So I'm just like on, I should probably just share. Yeah, I'll see if I can swap this. Can you see this? You should be able to see it now, right?
Yeah, zoom in.
Zoom in.
Yeah.
Is that better?
Yeah.
Cool. All right, so just as an example, like this is probably one of the better resources. You can obviously use the bots in Discord. I think they'll also spit stuff out like this, but you just go to the units at the top. You look for whoever you're trying to remod as a starter, or at least until you have the knowledge of what you think like they're going to require. And then it will generally tell you here, like based on the players that are playing the game, these are sort of the most popular mods. And generally, I would say that this is accurate to the point where if you just copied this or went try and like achieve this, you would see success. And then it tells you the breakdown as, you know, how many people are using offense sets versus health sets. So like Halo would fall in this category, for example, whereas most of us would fall in this category. And then, yeah, you just go through the characters and you sort of learn that and whatnot. And then I'll try to flick back to the game. And then what I would do is it's a bit hard to like find a home, but if you say you've rolled all these mods, you would just go and filter by unassigned, and then you would go by speed, and I would probably just take out the arrow as well, just so you can see. So you can see that this mod that I just did before has no home. So you would then just go through, and probably what I would do is you can either take a mental note or write down, you know, whatever you want. But basically, you just think like who, if you know or whatever, who needs 16 health, high speed potency mod. You can look through your roster if you've already been using like mod sets and stuff correctly, then you can filter by the actual stats you're looking for. So you can say like any slot potency, and then actually probably take off arrow as well. But then you can start to see like who's running your high potency sets, and then you can make a call based on that. So like maybe like a Talzin. So she's already got a 19 on her. So it's probably good for her. But that's, yeah, finding homes for them is definitely a little bit harder, I think. But I would just focus on like getting all your characters up based on the mod sets that are on the bot or SWGS or GG first, and then worrying about like trying to, I guess, optimize where they all sit. Because the main thing is you just want to make sure you're hitting like speed thresholds for a lot of the characters that you're using, right? So things like CLS, you want them to be quick. Jedi Master Luke, you want him to be relatively quick and have really high protection, and Rey, you wanted to have really high offense. So mine's at 12k, but I know that health sets for the health is not as high as it should be. Obviously, I've just prioritized offense with her, and I've only just gotten her, so I've just slapped on. I think I stole from like Arc Trooper and a few other characters just to see where she'd end up. But realistically, I would be looking for potential like for example, I could invest more into this mod if I wanted to. It's already got the speed requirement. It's got the offense primary, but it's got double health roll, right? So even if I get unlucky and I hit once, watch it hit defense. Yeah, there you go. But it basically has potential to help me with this specific circumstance, right? Obviously her other mods are already like maxed out. This mod probably needs to swap because it's kind of a wasted stat. So if I was to look for that, we can see if I do have anything available. It's already also got potency on it. Protection, speed, tenacity. It's got health on it as well, so it probably would be better to swap these two around. And I need to obviously, offense sets. I find I don't have that many that are really that good. I think back in the day, focused on crit damage a lot, and I think that's still a priority. But yeah, just that's sort of what I do, I guess, and how I go through. Halo can chime in maybe if he feels like offering some advice on how he places mods on characters or that sort of thing.
It's pretty similar, to be honest. Just checking dots and checking the
pretty much. Yeah, if you ever
checking GG and asking people as well is a big one too. I mean, honestly, just by going like seeing what you've got on, I like you need to change that crit damage set on your best Commander, I know, because that's totally worthless on him. So like, there's a few things like that, you may not even, people may not even realize that they might be, modding something that's completely suboptimal for something, or might not be actually really doing much for a character, I suppose. And the best way of doing that is just asking, to be honest, more than anything else. Because I know that a lot of the guys, like not just in Mac, but in ANGSC in general, will know what they're doing. And so just asking the question of, hey, how should I be modding this? Is this a good mod set? Like, people will be able to give you good advice. But if in doubt, you can always check .gg, definitely.
Yeah, I mean, looking out for definitely set. I think in Bam's case, for me, like, he's a character I literally don't look at because he's underwhelming and I've hated him ever since he's come out. So he's probably just got some mutt set on him that that I've just upgraded over time using the method and maybe never changed it, right? So just keeping an eye out, like you can see here, he's not modded well at all.
Yeah. So you'd want, like, ideal case, you want him full offense, similar to Rey, I guess, for offense and speed.
If we have a look at,
that's, as you said, the offense sets are a bit of a premium at the moment with how many characters want them.
Yeah. So if I look at SWGH.GG, as what Halo just said, like, it's telling me 2 health and 4 offense, and then you want offense, and then you want protection apparently on the circle and speed on the arrow. So yeah, like, remodding this guy to offense would be, if you were like focusing on him, you'd be trying to do that. But as you can see, like, I don't have that many offense sets that are really good, so it gets a bit harder. So what I would then do maybe is, like, after realizing this, I would just target farm offense sets for a little while. So still spend that 2 weeks doing the mod materials, and then spend that extra couple of days and just farm this over and over and over again. And then you get a whole bunch of trash. But sometimes you get some. So look, this could work out to be like a Beskar Mando mod if it actually pays off. But yeah, that's pretty much it. That's what I do, is just stay consistent, do it in bulk if you can, farm materials constantly, and then work top down. So yeah, to get the best results quickly, you would just filter everything but the arrows, buy speed, and work top down. Obviously, there might be even some mods here that you realize that, like, maybe Shark Tea doesn't actually need my best speed mod, and that could go somewhere else. Because, like, how much use does she get these days? It's great for cam, but besides that, like, what else, right? So, like, you might even discover that you've got, like, some mods here that sort of are outdated or whatever. But definitely work top down, because these are going to be your best mods, and you want to try and get them as high as you can. But also don't focus on one mod, especially if you don't have like crazy mod depth. Spend those 10 resources, these ones anyway. You can see, like, I've already burnt through whatever I had when I started, which was only like 120 or something. But you can burn out of it really quickly, and then you're stuck waiting, because I think the only rewards from that is like, I don't even know, like GA and something, maybe Conquest. So that's the bottleneck. You want to sort of spread it across your top, and just like every time you go back, just hit them once and see until they get to this magic 5, or until they go gold, I guess, and yeah, just work your way top down. And then if you do get lucky and hit a few like this one and stuff, you can place them or swap them around later. When you're trying to remod and stuff, I know like the bot will generally help you and tell you that you're missing this, missing that, so you can just be on the lookout for that sort of stuff. But yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it. Like, otherwise, yeah, I don't want to bore you guys by actually like going through me upgrading like blues and stuff. It's not like everyone sort of knows to do that. It's not really entertaining. But yeah, if there's any other questions, feel free to ask.
One. What's the consensus on offense percent secondaries?
I think like definitely in the days of relic levels, it's always better to have percent-based stats, right? Compared to back in the day anyway, because relic levels I think are only going to keep going up. So
Yeah,
I think
I think offense percentage is always going to be better at high end. Obviously, there's caveats to that, especially if you're trying to roll offense primaries on things. Obviously, if you can get offense primaries with flat offense as well, that's great. But kind of 8 times out of 10, though, on a high end character at least, that you're going to push all the way, especially like a GL, you're going to want the percentage offense way more than a flat offense score, I think.
Yeah, and just so you know, I don't know, maybe everyone might know this, might not know this, but if you can't roll the primary stat on a secondary, obviously, right? So if you have
not anymore.
So if it's an offense, for example, if it's an offense square, you're never going to see percentage offense in the secondary stats here. The best you can hope for is flat. And yeah, obviously with upgrading and stuff as well, if you're doing like speed set upgrades, and I would be a lot stricter with speed set upgrades than I would be with other things, because generally it's like whenever you're using a speed set, obviously the main thing you're caring about is speed. So yeah, like if it doesn't hit here, like throw it in the bin. Don't waste your time, don't waste resources. Yeah, everything's basically cost analysis, and it gets really expensive if you actually, if you're farming the materials per day or whatever. So even to slice this, right, it's like 10 and 25. So you'll probably get in 50 crystals will probably cost you to get this 25. So like each time you hit this mod and you're wasting 50 crystals essentially, when you could just like start with a better base. So that's all I would say is, yeah, try not to like, or just try and be a bit efficient with how you spend your materials. Yeah, don't go for the Hail Mary stuff because most of the time it doesn't work out. Any other questions?
I think you've covered it all, man.
Try. So this is a hard one. I mean, for me, I'll
Yeah.
probably bin it maybe, but like +10 on like it's a speed set, so obviously you're gonna want it to be in like the 20s or whatever. It's gonna cost a lot of money to get really high, but like if your other characters in your roster don't even have +10 secondary mods, then you might as well just use this, right? There's no reason why you shouldn't use it. Like the main goal should be just trying to like elevate your entire roster. So even if it's not a tier 1 mod, you can still find it at a home somewhere else. Especially in the days of like pilots and whatnot. But yeah, you can see here it's pretty. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Beautiful. How many people are still in?
A lot.
Anyone else got questions?
Excuse me. What are other good secondaries that you look out for?
So I mean, obviously the offense ones. So like this mod here is pretty good, but I think it's all dependent on. It's all dependent on like what you're trying to achieve. Obviously, health these days is pretty important. Potency can also be pretty good for things for certain people. But generally, like when you're modding, at least when you're building your mod sets and stuff, like realistically, it's a turn-based game and all you care about is speed, right? Anything else you get is a bonus, but I would never like discount a mod for crappy secondaries if it has like god tier speed on it. So I would say look at speed. Then when you have choice, you've sort of built up like a big library of mods, then you can worry about trying to optimize your secondaries.
Yeah, I think it definitely comes down to what you're actually doing with the mod. I think before anything else, as Weber said, it's like different characters are going to prioritize different stats for sure. Like someone like Ray is going to obviously have no use for potency, for example, but JML will have use for that potency. So it's kind of a hard question to ask what exactly, unless you're specifically farming for a particular character. It's hard to say, okay, yeah, you want to keep this, and this. Like even, like, you know, most of the time, if you can hit decent speed and decent offense, someone's going to use it, definitely. I mean, as you said, anything with a good amount of speed on it, someone's going to use anyway. But in terms of beyond that, it's going to be character dependent in terms of what secondaries you actually want to look out for. So I think it's kind of you roll the mod first that it's worth using somewhere, then you work out who can actually use it rather than kind of the other way around sometimes.
Yeah, because sometimes you can't be picky with that stuff, right? Like you can only work with what you've got. Yes. God.
Do you guys have any experience with Grand Ivory or Hot Utils? I'm just wondering how that might compare to looking at swgrh.gg and what they recommend versus, say, Grand Ivory.
Well, I think like like the Mac bot uses Hot Utils, right? As like a baseline, I'm pretty sure. So chances are it's grabbing it from the same place. that's why we said you can either use the bots in like Discord or you can go to swgh.gg. I think like they're very similar in terms of the recommendations and whatnot. I think if you've got hot utils and stuff and you want to use it, like go ahead. It'll probably just make this whole process of managing your mods easier and quicker. So you can basically just replicate whatever I've done in the hot utils interface, and it'll probably just be a bit nicer to use. But other than that, like yeah.
I was kind of surprised that you're upgrading the +3s. I usually.
Well, if it's a gold mod, I'll definitely upgrade it because it costs me credits, right? And it's like whatever. And you could hit +6 like it has happened before. I've gotten some of my best mods, not best mods, but some really good mods from like a grey +3, for example. Like it does happen. And especially if it's already colored, definitely do it because I mean credits are cheap. They can't. I mean, unless you've burnt them all on buying mods.
You, yeah. I'm always.
Well, that's yeah. I mean, like I'm stingy when it comes to the mod store, right? Like I really don't, because it's very expensive. And as Luke will tell you, he's gone through probably like 100k of ship currency just buying mods.
100 mil.
Sorry, 100 mil. Yeah. So I've got
no ship credits now.
Yeah, and like. I mean, like you probably have a couple of mods that are worth showing for it, but realistically, it's a lot of investment for like, yeah. I mean,
I think the store is good if you're specifically looking for a mod with specific stats on it. Yeah. That's where it becomes really good because it takes out some of the random chance with just hitting random stats because you can look at a gold one and go, okay, they've got all the stats you get. At that point, it's just RNG in terms of whether it actually rolls the stats you want. So I think that's the main value of the mod store. I think it's definitely worth going through and buying mods out of them, especially if like we've got a +5 speed already off the bat. But I think like in terms of me example, like what I use it for is going, okay, I need to find a speed mod with a protection primer or something. And that's where you'll be able to pick and choose what you want from it. As speed arrows as well is always good just to pick up while they're in there as well if you're short on that.
This one's pretty good.
Yeah, exactly. So it definitely has use, but I think it's a different use to just randomly just farming as much as possible and then rolling it. It creates a little bit of different purpose. I agree that you burn through credits really fast if you don't watch yourself.
Yeah,
but
like don't buy stuff like this.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
It's like offense. It's a triangle and it's rare. But offense on triangle is like not really
especially
used
on a health set
often
as well,
and it's on a health set, which is usually like health sets are what you're going to use for filler, right? So you'll use like a speed or offense or crit damage set, and then you'll use the health set to fill in the last two gaps of whatever you sort of struggling to get. So generally, and it's only got 3 speed on it, right? So this is like a waste of money because like you'll buy this and it will hit speed once and go to like 7 or something, and then you'll be like, cool, I just wasted 4 mil.
If that mod, for example, had flat offense and 5 speed starting, then it'd be picking. But you've got to be a little bit more picky about what you take out of it. Sometimes you can find really, really good for sure. It's just just got to comb it pretty consistently to find those. Like that's not terrible.
Yeah, I would probably buy this just because I have a lot of ship credits. Luke probably can't afford it, but that's fine. But yeah, like you can't get percentage offense secondary, right? So you've already got flat offense. All right, let's just do this for science, right? We'll buy this mod. We'll see what happens. But I guarantee it's gonna be a waste of money. This bad boy, right? All right, speed. Nah. There you go. 1, 2. Yeah, so I mean, it's already usable, right? So what I'll do is I'll take it to 15. It's at 14. I'll lock it so I don't accidentally sell it, and then find a home that someone that's using CDCC sets. And then I'll take it to now as well, whatever. Yeah, so now if I'm hitting this, I have basically a 1 in 2 chance of it being worthwhile. If I can get that flat offense up to 100 and I can get that speed up to 20 plus, like I'd be pretty happy with that, I guess. But as you can see, I'm now out of credits, so it's not gonna happen. But yeah, definitely. Whatever Halo said, I agree with. I'm very picky with this stuff, and I try not to burn my credits on unless, yeah, if it's like a crit damage triangle or something, and it's got like 4 or 5 speed with like a good set or something, then I'll definitely buy it. But most of the time, it's pretty crap. The only other one I'll probably buy is this one, but potency, because with arrows as well. I mean, I've got a lot of speed arrows, definitely. Not on like offense sets or crit damage sets, but a lot of the other ones. But with this one, it's kind of well.
Where that one's got where it's got potency and it's a potency set. See, that's because these things are really expensive, right? So that's my take, is that you look for that secondary that matches what the set is. If you've got
it's also got double offense as well.
Yeah, double offense.
Yeah, I mean that's a really good mod.
And you can't be just like with arrows, especially, you can't really be disappointed because it's going to hit the speed, you know? So it's a lot more likely to be worthwhile. Yeah, get rid of your accuracy stuff. So it's this one, right? So yeah,
There's so much in the shop that has mismatched primaries. Oh, it's like defense set or offense set with defense primary or something like that. It's like, no.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, just look out for that. Don't waste your credits, because once you dip or you start running out of credits, it's like really hard to get back, because you're always going to be playing catch up in this game, right? So you need to make sure that you sort of manage your resources as best you can. But yeah, I mean, I think that's pretty much it for. You could probably stop recording now if you want, and people can just ask other questions. But yeah, okay, that's all right.
I think that's pretty much it. Anyway.
Yeah.
Not many other questions out there.
Thanks for that, mate.
That's all right. Hopefully it helps you build your mods and stuff. But as Halo said as well, the best thing you can do is always ask, right? There's always going to be someone that'll tell you, what they're doing or what they think is best. So if you've ever don't know how to mod someone, or you've got like a mod that's really good or whatever, and you don't know where to place it, just post the screenshot in chat and someone will tell you who it's good for.
That sometimes gets embarrassing for people though, because it's like, where'd you put this one on? And it's like, yeah, no, buddy, I wouldn't.
Yeah, just play it cool and be like, I don't know, like everyone's got really good mods now, so I don't know who to put this on. Who should, you don't need to. Nah,
halfway decent mods always going to use it in something. It's like if you roll something good, then someone will be able to tell you where to put it. And people are going to have different opinions on it as well. So you're probably going to be left with like a few options with where to put it as well. So I mean, if you don't want to post every single mod you roll, but at the same time, like if you get something good, you've generally got to put it. Then it's always good to ask, because you'll get a few options for it.
Whatever you do, don't get Lord Vader. He's a piece of shit. That is my
Makes me feel good. Nearly got him.
I mean, sure. I don't know. He's underwhelming, put it that way. But although, like, I need to make him R8. Maybe that makes a difference. I don't know. But like, he has some good mods on him, and he's still crap.
It needs an Omicron or a couple of them.
Yeah. Compared to Kenobi, if anyone ever asks you, should I get Kenobi or Lord Vader? Don't even hesitate. Honestly. But yeah, I mean, that's basically it. So I'm happy to just hang around, talk a bit of shit if you guys want. If you have any other questions that pop up from now until whenever we leave, then it's all good. You want to see anything else in the game? My roster or whatever, feel free to ask.
So what do you guys think about Ninth Sister? There was some squads that had Ninth Sister in that our last territory war. She seems to add quite a bit.
I think
she's a good alternative to Maul. If you want to split Maul off.
Yeah.
If you want to split Maul away into his own team, and a lot of people are doing that because Maul's team is quite good. I think if you want to split it off and keep him elsewhere, then Night Sister is a good option to put in. Not sure how well she works at lower gear, but certainly once she's starting geared, I think she's worth an option in terms of that. But I mean, the other big thing with her is that she's good for that because we don't know what else the rest of that team's going to have. Like eventually they're going to have a full Inquisitor team. They've already said that. So right now it's like, yeah, she's good with Vader, but give it 2 months. We don't know whether that'll still be the case and whether she's going to be better on the full Inquisitor team.
Yeah.
You reckon she'd work with anyone other than Lord Vader and obviously
at the moment with the information we've got, no. I think that it's either at the moment really she works with Vader and not much else because we've only got 2 Inquisitors. So there's not really many spots for it all right now. But again, I think that will change once we get the other Inquisitors in and suddenly we've got that other team. Yeah. And I guess it just depends on what's more worthwhile, a full Inquisitor team or a full Mando team. Because if that Inquisitor team is going to be as good as the Mando team, then you've actually got a choice about whether to put Maul or the sister in with Vader. But at the moment, certainly the Mando team is arguably more versatile than Vader, so you want to keep them separate to do things with, especially in GA as well. So if you've got Ninth Sister usable, then you can put it with Vader to have that online Force user to help him get his ult quicker, and still have that flexibility of a Maul team. But again, in a couple of months that may change once we've got more Inquisitors, and suddenly you've actually got a proper choice to make about what team you can put down. Because the Inquisitors might also be an amazing team as well. We just don't know yet.
Yeah. The problem with Lord Vader is his best team takes away from too many other teams. So I think his best team is currently with Maul, Piet, Royal Guard, and probably Vader, right? But if you actually,
I would say Maul, Royal Guard, Vader, and Thrawn is probably the best four with him at the moment. Is that it helps shut down that Kylo counter?
Yeah, but that's sort of pretty heavy, expensive team. So Ninth Sister, I think just gives you, especially if she's relict or whatever, then it's another tanky boy that gives you the same benefits that Maul gives with the Unaligned Force user tag.
I think she gives different benefits. I think the great thing about Maul is because he obviously takes back-to-back turns, is he charges that ult time.
Damages himself, right?
Quickly.
Yeah.
Whereas Ninth Sister doesn't quite charge up as much, but she does give you an AoE daze, which can't be resisted by Jedi, which is amazing when JML is one of the common counters. So she offers different things to Maul, but she's obviously still she's still very good in there for sure.
Yeah.
Well, potentially, yeah. That's something that has been speculated as well. It'd be quite interesting to see if that is actually the case. I think that's definitely a possibility for sure. Because they keep saying that the Inquisitors aren't going to be used to unlock anything. They've been coy about whether we're going to get a Grand Inquisitor as the leader, proper leader of the team. If we don't get that, I think there's a decent chance that all four could just slot straight in with that, or however many we get, I guess.
Yeah, he doesn't give benefits for. He gives the same benefits for Empire and Darkside Unaligned Force users, so it's not like they get double benefits or anything like that for being both Empire and whatever else. But I
think there is. I can't remember his full kit. I think there's something his ult that helps it. I know that obviously more with his self damage charges it super quickly. But a big thing about the Night Sister as well, she's got such a massive health pool, and she spreads, I think, crit immunity around and defense buffs as well.
So this is where
just in general helps the team be.
So Maul gives an extra 1%, plus he takes 5 turns, and each time he uses that ability, he damages himself, right? Which then feels.
Whereas I guess with Night Sister, you're relying on her taking the damage being a tank, but she does taunt a lot though as a tank, which helps. So she's going to cop a bit of punishment.
Yeah. That's pretty interesting. I think like my next projects will be like these two, Mara Jade and Darth Talon.
Mara's fantastic. She's great.
Dash, so I got pushed back because I did Kyle, but he's like gear 12, and I think I'll just leave him there for now because Rebel Fighter. Yeah, I don't know. I don't see. I think like Mon Mothma teams might be become like Geos, dude. The more stuff comes out, everyone's starting to use it to beat them. So I think I'll just leave Kyle at gear 12 and call it a day until later. But yeah.